Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our special guest, Logan Shroyeer.
Logan! What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Good. How you guys doing? Good to be here.
We're doing great. We're even better now that we get to look into that handsome mug. Look at the hair.
I know.
That's without product, ladies and gentlemen. That's just how he wakes
just
up.
Natural.
Rolled right out of bed. In fact.
Yeah.
He's not even awake. This is him sleeping. Can
You've
you
got
believe it? This
full
charming and
stubble
asleep.
now? Like, does this grow out full? Or were you keeping it low on purpose or what?
I can grow it a bit more. It's like it comes in different. The mustache isn't as strong though.
Okay.
I want to get some more.
Why don't you just you
Give
keep
yourself some
the
time.
hair? I'll do the beard. All right. Let me have the beard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I gotta have something. You are our first guest for season 2 of
There we go.
That Was Us.
Very
We
much.
were just recapping the first episode of season 2, in fact.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to have you join us for a little discussion.
It is
Just,
great.
I mean, we can sort of talk broad strokes and then we can talk more specifically about this episode. But I, had the pleasure of being your mother for 6 seasons. And I'm just curious. We had alluded to this in a previous episode, but we shot your timeline with other actors
Correct.
who were sort of in between your age and the age of our youngest big 3,
Yeah.
big little 3. And then those parts were recast with you and Niles and Hannah. And I'm just curious, like, what that process was, what you were told, how much you knew about the show, because the majority of the episode had already been shot and then you guys were brought in and we sort of rejiggered certain pieces. But then moving forward, you were such a pivotal part of the series. So I'm just curious how it all sort of unfolded for you.
I pretty much knew nothing, honestly. It was Untitled Dan Fogelman Project,
Yep.
episode guest star. I believe the story was that they had 24 hours or 48 hours to cast it. It was like a really quick turnaround.
Wow.
I had like 4 auditions that week too, so it wasn't like this wasn't like my, oh my gosh, this,
This is it.
I remember being in the room with Josh and thinking like, all right, that was okay, as long as that's good, like kind of my bar. And he was like, what, that wasn't good enough? Like, you want to do it again? And I was like, no, I think that was good.
That sounds like Kev, baby.
Move on.
No, that was it. You got it.
Yeah, I got a call the next afternoon, and then it was like fitting that night, fitting that morning. We were on set. I just assumed we were doing the audition sides. I didn't get the script till that morning on the way to set.
Whoa!
I just assumed we were doing the audition sides, which thank God we were. Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I really could tell there was an extra eye on set because I don't know if you remember, Mandy, but I think it was like all of the execs, a lot of the writers, like everybody was there at Village, and it felt kind of like tense, or maybe that was just my experience of it. But if I recall, Dan wasn't there, but John and Glenn and a lot of other people were there.
Got it.
And
I
it
think
was
you might be right.
I think it was I was like, this feels like a lot of pressure. I don't know. I recall Niles and I doing it, and it just like wasn't really working. And then I think we rehearsed it like there was just a lot of
scene?
What was the first scene?
scene?
What was it?
The first scene was in the bedroom where I'm like throwing the football at him because he's doing his homework late at night, and I'm trying to sleep before the big game. And it's the whole thing where I moved to the basement where we changed rooms.
Got it.
And yeah, I mean, it was a lot. I had, the brown eyes to match Justin, and I have like a rare contact prescription, so I couldn't see because they can't get them in time.
Amazing.
So they just put as much in there as they could. And I'm just kind of like
Blind on top of everything.
At least you already wore contacts.
That's true.
Yeah, so that was good. That was good, actually. Yeah. No, that actually helped me a lot because they didn't get, fun fact, it didn't get the prescriptions in before the football stuff even. So I was throwing all the football.
Jeez Louise. I didn't know that.
This is baptism by fire, dude.
Glamorous.
Okay, so wait, in addendum, or if it was piggybacking off of that, had you, Niles, Hannah, had you guys ever come across each other through work before? Are you all meeting for the first time on the show? And what kind of camaraderie were you able to develop? Like, was it like a big 3 for you guys, or were you sort of lone wolves? Like, how did it develop over time?
if I can't remember exactly, Niles and Hannah might have crossed paths really briefly.
Okay.
I hadn't crossed paths with them.
Yeah.
I remember, I mean, it was such a cool, like, because it was a 1 episode guest star as far as we knew. Milo cued us in. He was like, "You guys are going to be here a while." And we're like, "Okay, we don't want to get our hopes up. Well, I don't know what that means."
Yeah.
Very mysterious. And I mean, it slowly really did build into a camaraderie. And it's such an interesting thing to, it's like a very specific experience to have with people that it's hard to explain to everybody else.
Sure.
So you kind of have that experience. No, we grew immensely close, and I mean, yeah, it's what it is on set, and like the material is so bonding. It's like
Yeah.
all the stuff that you go through with everybody.
Yeah.
It's really nice. But yeah, no, we ate lunch in each other's trailers.
Yeah,
like,
you guys were
Oh my
especially close. I mean, it was different with the younger version of your characters, just because they
The
were
parents.
children and they had
Yeah.
parents and stuff, and you guys, for the most part, were, save for Niles in the beginning, like
Niles was the only one that was under 18 in the beginning.
when we started. Yes, you guys, just like from my recollection, in the midst of sort of trying to soak in this crazy experience that we were all living kind of in real time of, because I think you guys were introduced in episode 7, and maybe the show had just started airing, or
Sure.
it was about to start airing. So it's like we all rode this like crested wave together. But I remember you guys always being close and like thick as thieves, and hanging out with each other on set, off set. Like, it was very sweet. It's like you instantly became family, or at
Yeah.
least that's how it felt from the outside looking in. And
Do you still get the chance to see each other?
Oh yeah, we just caught up. Niles' birthday was recently,
oh, I
so
love that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
I caught that
Yeah, no,
dude. I caught him on Instagram. His arms are bigger than mine.
well, yeah, he's killing it. Yeah. He's really good.
Was it a-
He looks really
Was it a birthday party where like invitations went out, or
And ours just
Like,
got
were people-
lost in the.
Yeah, no, not at all. It was
it was like a
very-
small thing? It was
It
probably
was a prize party. We threw him a
it was like
don't
a
worry
very
about it,
small
yeah.
thing, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
no
worry.
worries.
don't
All right,
worry.
cool.
I'm curious. I obviously, you established that you didn't really know what you were getting yourself into when you got cast on the show.
Yeah.
But once you knew you were playing this younger version of Justin Hartley, did you have any? Did you spend a lot of time with him? Were you able to have conversations, or did you simply just sort of observe episodes or observe him from afar?
I know he caught you outside his house a couple of times, right? Looking in the windows and yeah.
There was that
Yeah,
restraining
the restraining order
yeah.
made it difficult
Yeah.
to like do my research,
Yeah.
but I got it done. No,
Got it done.
yeah, it was really cool because there's a lot of I mean, gosh, I'm like young on the show, like the nerves, and like really just wanted to do so well. And I remember watching him and kind of in person a little bit, but especially the episodes, and having a conversation with him about it. And he said, I think the first thing he said was, "This is your character too."
Aw.
Okay.
Wow.
So don't just try to do what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like the writing, I think he also talked about the writing is so good, and they do so much of the heavy lifting, really.
Yeah.
And let it be yours. It's gonna cut, like it's gonna work out. Like you can watch me or whatever, but I want you to know, like, this is your character. So don't just.
So stop watching me. What did you just stop? Just stop it.
Well,
Yes.
also, when you think about it, so much of what you do informs what he
Absolutely.
has to do. I mean,
Right.
you can speak to that.
Yeah. I mean, it's this weird sort of synchronicity because you share this character amongst 3 people, essentially, like young, medium, and old, or what have you. And it's a testimony to the writing because when I watch the show, I watch Randall. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? Or I watch
Sure.
Kevin, and I watch Kate. And like, it's just, you guys were so, I said this to Niles, like, I feel like I'm in such good hands, that the character is in such good hands that I don't worry about anything. I just love watching you guys do your thing. And you were so sweet. You still are. Like,
Yes,
even though you're
always.
25 and you're old, but like you would be around and you would just sort of like watch, and you would like ask questions and whatnot, because you were just really sort of a sponge trying to soak it all up. Like the experience in total for you, did you feel like, what did you gain from it? Like, I know you'd worked before and whatnot, but like, what was the process of being on this show for 6 years? Like, what were you left with?
a lot of obviously,
Yeah.
and one of which I think maybe is the understanding of how to be a professional and really do this and what this means.
Yeah.
One of the amazing things that, especially because we shot in LA, I was really blessed with was I was working on This Is Us and I was in my acting studio in my class at the same time. So I was trying stuff in class and then risking it on set.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
going back and forth to try to just push myself, like do something really difficult in class. And it was so cool, the synchronicity of how those two things just continued to grow me. And um, I mean, I shadowed directors on the show. I sat in the writing
Yeah,
room.
man.
I spoke to editors. I didn't know what different sized lenses were. So you guys might not remember this, but for Kate's wedding, we had, I think, 4 cam operators. And this when I'm shadowing, trying to understand lens sizes, every setup, I asked every cam op what the lens size was and went back to Village to see what that looked like.
Ah, good
So
for
I
you.
didn't
That's
really know anything.
amazing.
Yeah. So I learned it. I mean, it was like I looked at it a little bit like my college film school experiences. That's kind of how I approached
Sure.
it. So
When I watched episode 1 of season 2,
Yeah.
every single person on screen is different. Everybody has now come back
Sure.
to a hit TV show.
Well, you came back with the beard.
Yes, all of that. But what I mean is there's an ease in the characters. There's an at-home feeling, especially with the 3 of you. And I was just telling Mandy before we hopped on the phone with you that like this was the first episode where I saw the link between you and Justin. Like you had gotten close enough in the timeline where I was like, oh, there's the connection.
Yeah.
Right. There's no more little boy and there's no more grown man. Like this is the transition point. And it was really, it's really beautiful. And it shows across everybody. Like I think everybody's, the relationships are a little easier.
Sure.
Like the way we live in our clothing is a little more at ease. But I'm wondering for you, if you felt that, or if you felt that at any point in season 1, or
Did you feel that
settled
did you
shift?
feel that
in?
all? Did you feel a shift?
I never got there. Honestly.
Yeah. Some people don't.
Yeah.
Took Sterling
I
6
think-
seasons.
You know, it's funny. I think there's something to it, but also, you know, what's interesting is people would come up to me a lot, even in the later seasons, and they would say, "Your mannerisms, you did all the mannerisms," and I'm like, I kind of did. Like, there's like a one big one. He kind of like moves with his nose a bit. He kind of does.
Yeah.
this-
He does.
Yeah.
But other than that, like just embodying it wholeheartedly, you know, that I feel like there was something there. I think by that point I was a series regular, so I think there was a little bit more of like, oh,
That helps.
I'm
Yeah.
here, we're
Yeah.
gonna do this.
Sure.
Like,
Job
okay,
security.
that's different than like I'm one episode, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. But I remember, I just remember like all the feelings, and even by season 3 and 4, sometimes I'd be in the makeup trailer, just like, oh my gosh, and I'm just like, I need to settle.
Yeah.
Like it's so exciting, and I just love it all. But
Aw, that's a
yeah.
I have a question for you. So in this particular episode, we see blurry figures at Jack's funeral. And I think like through other context clues, we've come to understand, actually through Justin, I believe, that that Jack passed away when the big 3 were teens.
Yeah.
So we know that leaves you and Logan, you and Hannah and Niles to sort of like carry the load of that storyline. And I'm curious because there was so much mystery around Jack's death and his passing and so many questions and stuff. Were you privy to any of that, or were you as in the dark as most of us were?
I think Milo or you would maybe tell me some things here and there.
Yeah, we would
I
let you
learned
in.
from you guys to ask ask Zoe and everybody about the episodes to come because they get them first.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I learned that down the road. But yeah, no, I don't think I knew much at all. I mean, at that point, obviously, we knew that I was at the funeral, so I started to think about it, build some.
But we also see in this episode that you are making out with Sophie in the woods, so you're not in Miguel's house with Kate and Randall. He's making the bed, and there's a mysterious redhead there with Randall. Everybody's crying, so we've come to assume that like something is transpired, but you're not there. It's really interesting again how they sort of like shuffle the deck of cards and don't let everybody in on.
Give them a little bit at a time.
Exactly.
A little bit at a time.
But it must have been a clear indication that you'd just been given an emotional raise on the show. Like, oh, this is going to be on us. This is This is going to be on the three of us. Okay, here comes season 2.
Yeah.
I do remember. I also remember Milo showing up to the first funeral set because I think he liked the idea of being at his own funeral. So he
came and took pictures. Remember, I was like, "This is so dark."
Of course he did.
He was haunting us.
That's
all
right.
of us.
I do have a question because so much of like the history of the relationship between Randall and Kevin rests on you and Niles, and we get a chance to play out the after effect of a childhood that was lived, but you guys sort of get a chance to really embody that tension. Like, was there, I'm sure, and I know you guys were buddies or whatnot, but talk to me a little bit about like some of the douchier things that Kev has to do to his little brother and what it was like to sort of like live in it. You know what I'm saying? Like we just watched it at the end of season 1 where Randall's having a panic attack and you're like standing, you're about to go into the shower and you see him having a panic attack and you're like, he'll be all right. And you keep going into the shower. Like you do a lot of those things. There's arguments and stuff when they're sort of vying for who's the alpha of the house. I'm just curious, like what, was it fun to play? Was it difficult?
Yeah, I mean,
it's both.
It's fun. It's difficult. It's like, it's interesting because like, I remember there's the scene about the watch. We're like really going at it in the church for the reception, I believe, of the funeral. And like, I mean, it's still tense in between takes.
Yeah.
Like, he's my guy, but there's an energy that's
that's
what it is. But you just let that kind of ride out. And I guess trust that you really know somebody and that it's like, it's okay because we know what we're doing. But no, it's fun. I mean, for me, I learned to embrace it a bit more, but I would read the scripts and I would just be like, man, why am I the bad guy?
Yeah.
God, I gotta freaking get behind this now. I gotta justify.
Yeah.
I mean, the first really big thing, which didn't make the show, and I'm assuming that you guys are talking about all this kind of stuff.
Sure.
Which is the stuff around his blanket that he was left with the fire station.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that. But originally, because of the arguing we had before the game, I cut it or something.
Yes.
Oh my God, cut that out. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because it made me way too much of a villain.
They watched it.
They were like,
back,
oh, he's too much of an
this
asshole.
guy's a prick.
Yeah.
we can't show that to
Reel
America.
Reel it in.
Yeah.
There's also, and because of that, also there was a really good moment that didn't make it where Niles and Hannah are on the sideline of the game, and he says something like, "I'm gonna take it from him." Like she's like, "Stop! What are you doing? The scout is here to see him play. Like you don't care about football." And he says like, "I'm gonna take it from him," and then he sacks me and the whole thing.
That's when you hurt yourself. Did you hurt yourself on that tackle?
That game, I don't think I get hurt. But
it happens later, which is why when Jack passes away, he has the knee injury.
It. It's interesting because there's a fine calibration of like, what can you come back from? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like what is going too far type of thing. So I get it. And it's also, you do such a great job. And I just saying this to all of our listeners, you are one of the nicest young men that I've had the pleasure of being in the presence of. So I always think it's really interesting when you see naturally kind people have to be sort of like,
it's hard,
unkind. It's not the easy thing to pull off.
It's not.
You killed that joint, man. You killed it.
Yeah.
For us.
Yeah, I don't know if you listen to the podcast in general, but we spend, if you don't, please do rate and subscribe. That we spend a lot of time praising you and your siblings.
Yeah.
Your contribution to the show is just incredible, man.
Yeah.
That means a lot. Means a lot coming from you guys, really. I mean, we tried so hard.
You nail it
really,
time after time after time.
Yeah, it really is a testament to you guys, the three of you, that, we love these characters. We follow these characters as wholeheartedly as we do.
Yeah.
You guys just you never showed up to set unprepared. You just you were so professional. You guys were always the best to work with, and you made it so easy to love you and to root for you.
Yeah, we had a lot of good times.
We really did.
Beautiful work, man.
Yeah,
a lot of dinners. A lot
of dinner scenes. I would come watch some dinner scenes from time to time. It was fun to see what was going on in the past.
It was fun to sort of get to play with you guys of okay, who's gonna eat what? Are we just gonna eat a couple bites of salad? Are we gonna eat the bread? We all trained ourselves very well to just stick with the things that you weren't gonna get sick of because you were gonna be there all day.
To the public at large, eating on screen, there's an art to it.
There is an art.
Oh yeah.
You remember the turkey leg thing, Mandy, with Niles?
Never forget it.
What happened with the turkey leg? Share.
Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah, well, he
ate raw turkey.
He wanted to go for it one of the nights, and he just took a huge chunk off one, and it was raw under there.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
In the middle, and we just couldn't get over it, honestly.
Yeah, because it's disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah, and he kept frying. I don't know.
God.
And Milo made the mistake many a time too, just overeating something, and then he had to commit to it. Remember that it was some sort of vegan dish again on some dinner scene, and he had to eat the whole plate of it every single take, and I was you know better than that, Milo. Come on.
Real quick before we ask you what else you're up to and where people can find you and support you today, what is on your arm?
The tattoo?
This?
Yeah.
It really looks like a "This Is Us" tattoo. You could give it a little nod. I understand. I know. I'm sorry. It's not. It's one of my friends got a 1, one got a 2, I got a 3, and we all kind of meetings 3, Holy Spirit, Trinity. You can but also big 3. I don't know. It's
exactly. Many meanings.
I just wanted to, for people who are watching us on YouTube, I'm sure I've seen your arm a couple times. Just wanted you to call it out.
It up there, yeah.
Okay, so now that you've done that, tell us, have you been up to anything lately? Can people check you out anywhere? If so, please let us know where.
There actually might be, but I don't know if I'm allowed to say it yet.
Well, then tell people where they can find you on social media, and they can watch that.
Follow along.
There you go.
Yeah, on Instagram at LOGAN_Shroyer, just my name, and got some stuff going.
Nice.
I don't know if I talked about it much. The industry is in such a strange, crazy.
It is.
That
indeed.
is correct. Yes.
It's been a really interesting navigating time, but it gives a lot of time for life too. Which is
some of us got into podcasting.
Yeah.
Very
when
well,
times are weird, just lean into a new medium.
Lemonade. That's what we do. Brother, it was so great to see you.
So good to see you, Logan.
Look forward to seeing you in person. Hopefully you can come back later when we get into more Kevin-specific episodes. And
we'd love to have you back. Pick your brain.
I'd love to. And you guys said some really nice stuff about me. I mean, I couldn't say more things about you guys.
You could, though. We have time. We have time if you want to. Yeah, start with Sterling. I'm kidding.
Oh,
we love you, man. We love you.
It really is true, though. I mean, you guys, I really, what I wanted to say when you asked me what I learned is I learned from example from you guys, from this show and how you embraced us and the community that's talked about so much, the family. Yeah. I mean, I really was walking up to you guys and just hey, can I ask you a question? And can I, not trying to bug everybody, but you guys are all so warm, and I'm just trying to soak up as much as I could. And you guys really, really, I don't know, just great people and great work. And I just had my eyes wide open for 6 years, feels like. So,
well, right back at you.
You're the best, Logan. Thanks for coming to talk to us, man.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It's really, really good to see you guys.
Talk to you later, buddy.